A law passed in the United States last year required that all documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation be released by December 19, 2025. This law emerged as a result of public pressure from people who had been asking for years why this file remained sealed. Because the issue had long ceased to be just a criminal case, it had become a matter that directly concerns all of humanity. When the deadline arrived, unfortunately, the files were not released. However, after a 6-week delay, just a few days ago, the U.S. Department of Justice made approximately 3 million pages of documents, 180,000 photographs, and 2,000 videos available to the public. This was clearly the biggest scandal in American history. In fact, the greatest mystery began right here. More than 100 pages in a file related to the grand jury investigation were completely blacked out. Most likely, the delay stemmed from this. At least that is what sources say. There were so many images that had to be censored, so many that could not be shown, that they were unable to publish all the pages. We are talking about 3 million pages of documents. Of course, these documents were not released to prove that crimes were committed. There was no need for that. Epstein had already managed to emerge almost unscathed from the system in 2008 through a highly controversial plea deal in Florida. Then in 2019, he was arrested again. That same year, he was found dead in prison, officially ruled a suicide. These were already known, debated, recorded, and documented facts. Now let's focus on what is new. First of all, describing Epstein solely by the crimes he committed is highly insufficient. What the documents reveal is a new and more fundamental picture. Epstein was a person who, for years, maintained contact with many powerful individuals, sustained relationships with them, and whose presence around them was not considered a problem. This file raises not so much the question of who committed crimes, but rather who was able to move comfortably within this system. For example, former U.S. President Bill Clinton. The documents contain numerous photographs and emails showing Clinton together with Epstein, by the pool, in jacuzzi-like areas, in crowded environments. To this day, no accusations have been directed at Clinton by Epstein's victims. However, the file clearly shows this. Epstein was a figure who could directly access the highest levels of American power. And guess who else appears in the file? Elon Musk. In the correspondence, there are questions about Epstein's Island, as well as party and visit planning. Elon Musk, of course, denies any accusations. The same applies to Bill Gates. His case is slightly different. The documents include emails understood to have been written by Epstein that are associated with Gates. The entertainment world is not outside this picture either. The documents include photographs taken with names such as Mick Jagger, Michael Jackson, and Diana Ross. Most of these photographs are ambiguous. It is unclear where they were taken or at which event. But still, the following picture emerges. Epstein was someone who was accepted as normal in almost every sphere and had contact with everyone. More importantly, even after the 2008 accusations, he was still able to pose freely with many people without hesitation. However, at the center of this system stands Ghislaine Maxwell. Without understanding her, it is very difficult to understand the entire issue. She was his closest associate and right-hand person, not only his partner, but also one of the operational managers. Invitations, introductions, accommodations, photographs, and the majority of contacts all involve Maxwell's name. Maxwell has now been convicted. Her method of operation was simple but extremely effective. First, contact was established. Then a private environment was created. This was not a public place. Private properties, islands, jets, invitations. Whatever the setting, these were spaces without official records. Naturally, there were few witnesses and unclear boundaries. And then everything became unquestionable. Another striking element in the documents is the flow of money. Payments made in different years to politicians, diplomats, and various connections are clearly documented. Some of these payments are labeled as donations, some as support, and some have no description at all. Legally, these are not crimes, but from the nature of the file, we understand this. Epstein was not only managing human relationships, he was also financing them. This is where an important distinction appears. His 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution from a minor did not lead to the dismantling of this network. On the contrary, the documents show that many contacts continued even after that date. In other words, there was a conscious act of looking the other way. Both in the celebrity world and among diplomats, victim testimonies included in the documents clearly explain how this system was protected. Those who filed the first complaints against Epstein claimed they were threatened, silenced, and left alone. Models, children, whatever comes to mind, they are all practically screaming, crying out in desperation, because truly no one came to their aid. The network was so deeply established that it was impossible for them to bring it down on their own. Now we come to the biggest breaking point, because there is direct evidence. According to FBI records, Epstein was extremely selective. He preferred girls who had no tattoos or piercings, who were young, obedient, compliant, and calm. He liked being taken care of and shown affection. However, he did not openly demand this. He expected the other person to do it on their own. This is proof that the relationships Epstein established were not random, but control-oriented. One of the most striking details in the reports is the testimony of a Turkish girl whose name has been censored. The documents state that this person traveled frequently with Epstein, developed an emotional bond with him, and fell in love with him. The same reports claim that she hid herself for a long time and did not carry out some of the activities Epstein demanded. Despite this, it is recorded that she remained in constant contact with him and traveled with him to different countries. The documents show us this. Epstein ended relationships with people who became dependent on him, almost clingy. The Jeffrey Epstein file is not just about a single criminal. It is about a system that operated for years, coming before people through 3 million documents and thousands of records, and undeniably representing one of the most horrifying scandals and greatest problems in human history. The documents reveal how this system was established and how it was normalized. The state says everything has been disclosed, but a large portion of the files is still closed. Of course, there are much deeper allegations. But when you look at the situation overall, no matter where you hold it from, it is something that will freeze your blood. At this point, demands can be made for the release of all documents and the removal of censorship. But as you can see, that is not happening. The days will come when all truths are revealed transparently. Thank you for listening. I tried to explain this event in the most proper way possible for YouTube. Stay up to date with the agenda. Don't forget to follow the channel and like the video. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.